welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lisa. I'm an Australian expat living in Amsterdam. Earlier this month, I had some visitors. My mum and my aunt came to visit us for the first time in Amsterdam. They came all the way from Australia, so it was a really big deal for us. Right now it is June, and I would say that June, July, August are the best times of the year to come visit Amsterdam or the Netherlands. It's summer, and not going to get much better weather than this. So if you are thinking of visiting Amsterdam, then this video is going to be perfect for you because I decided to share with you our 4-day itinerary that I created to show my mom and my aunt around. Make sure you stay until the end of the video as well, because I also want to give you some additional tips such as suggested alternatives to very popular tourist destinations, and I also want to share with you my favorite resources for different things that you can see, do and eat when you're in Amsterdam. Enjoy the vlog and I will see you soon. I am in Muiden with my mom and my aunt, and I've never been here before. We just went to Muiderslot, which I highly recommend. It's a really cool castle, and now we're just gonna walk around the village, grab a cup of coffee and just explore Muiden. It's a really cute little town. I love it here and the weather is perfect. So yeah, see you later. welcome back. I hope you found the video helpful so far. I'm going to dive straight into my suggested alternatives for popular tourist destinations. The first one that is always really high on these tourist must-do lists is the floating flower market in the center of Amsterdam. I think the term floating is very overrated and misleading. The only part that really is floating in this market is the shop front. I'll include a picture here so you know what I'm talking about. But when you actually go into the shop, it doesn't feel any different to any other shop on the street. So that's one thing to note. People often go there thinking that they're going to see lots of beautiful fresh flowers. Unfortunately, that's really not the case. A lot of what is sold is actually just seeds to plant in your own garden or tulip bulbs. In that respect, I think it is quite disappointing to a lot of people, and I actually wouldn't recommend going there. I personally think there are so many more interesting markets to explore. My favorite one is the Lindengracht market, which takes place every Saturday in Jordaan. And in that market, you're actually going to see a lot of beautiful fresh flowers that are in season. Another really nice market, which is in the west, is called the Cuypmarkt. It's a little bit smaller than the Lindengracht market, but also really worthwhile visiting, and also has lots of beautiful flowers always on sale. Amsterdam is full of museums. That's not a secret. We have some really great museums, but we also have some really terrible museums. Some obvious tourist trap museums that come to mind are the Torture Museum, Ripley's Believe It or Not. There's also ones that are really hyped up on Instagram reels, but are actually very not worth your time and money, in my opinion, like the Moko Museum. Controversial, I know. Just so many more interesting and worthwhile museums to visit. Rijksmuseum, the Dutch Resistance Museum, the Museum of Canals is really interesting, and also Our Lady in the Attic is a very interesting museum to visit. Another really popular tourist activity is the Heineken experience. I can kind of understand why that would be a fun group activity to do, and if you're interested in beer, you want to understand how beer is made, but I would classify this as more of a tourist trap. A suggested alternative to the Heineken experience is you could go to the Brouwerij I. This is a real brewery, that's a really hard word to say, brewery. This is a brewery that is located in the east, right next to a windmill, and it's going to cost you so much less to enjoy your beer. I also forgot to mention that at this brewery, you can take a free brewery tour on selected days from 3:30 to 4 p.m. and apparently it's a lot more authentic than the Heineken experience. The Van Vonderen stroopwafel shop. This is one that I personally fell for myself. I always pass by this shop and I always saw so many people lining up for this shop. So I just thought, you know, I'm gonna give it a go. Do not go. Do not go. It is the biggest tourist trap in history. The idea with this store is that you can customize your stroopwafel, so you can add M&Ms or sprinkles and chocolate and all of those fancy additions, but it will set you back about €9 for one stroopwafel. A pack of stroopwafel is about €2, you know, so that just kind of gives you an idea of how marked up that price is. And I didn't even think it tasted that good. Canal boat trips. This is something you definitely should do if the weather is good during your visit. In our particular case, we booked a tour with those damn boat guys. In our tour, there were about 10 people, so it was still quite private. We could ask our driver questions. Our driver could tell us the history of all the different sites that we were seeing. So it was a very nice private tour. But an alternative to booking a boat tour is that you could actually rent a boat yourself and drive it yourself on the canals of Amsterdam. How cool is that? You don't need a boat license to do that. There are two main companies that I know of, Mokenboot and Sloopdalen. Sloopdalen is 100% electric, so really silent, but Mokenboot is also really good. And the benefit with Mokenboot is that it has a wheel. It's a little bit easier if it's the first time you are driving a boat on the canals. And the prices are actually quite affordable if you are traveling as a group. What I suggest you don't do is book those huge huge boat tours that you often see in the center of Amsterdam. The ones I usually see say lovers on the boat. I don't know why it's called a lovers cruise, because honestly everyone in the boat always looks so miserable and sad. You're just on board with lots of other people. It's a very impersonal experience. And secondly, they often have glass windows closed all around the boat, even when the weather is gorgeous outside. What you really want is to not have any barrier between yourself and the water. You want to be able to see the water up close when you're on the canal boat tour. Please, 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 just don't go on those huge boat tours. There are so many better alternatives. If you are planning to come to Amsterdam in April, then you probably are wanting to see the tulip fields. A lot of people go to the Keukenhof Gardens, which I personally went myself and I actually really liked it, but I can understand why some people might see it as a bit touristy. Some alternatives to seeing tulips in the Netherlands are that you could go to the outdoor tulip fields in Lies, or you could also go to Noordwijk. Finally, I do think it's important that you consider getting out of Amsterdam if you have enough time in your itinerary to do so. Some other suggested alternative cities could be Utrecht, Leiden, Haarlem. All those three cities are a very short train ride away from Amsterdam and worthwhile seeing as well. They're very beautiful places to visit. Okay, now I'm going to end the video very quickly with my favorite resources that I use to figure out what to do, see, eat in Amsterdam. Okay, number one, Wanderlusting K. This is my favorite blog of all time. It is so informative. The blogger behind this is an American expat who has lived in the Netherlands for many years, and I just always go straight to her website first. I find that her tips are always bang on point. I feel that her blog posts are really well written and well thought out, very informative. So check it out. Your Little Black Book just gives you all the best tips on where to eat and where to go in Amsterdam. Love it. Everyone who lives here uses it. Amsterdam website, this is an official website that is really quite useful too. It gives you a lot of information on what is happening in the city week by week. So if, for instance, you want to find out what's happening over the weekend that you're visiting. Also, there are just so many handy tips about how to experience Amsterdam, both as a tourist and also as a local. On Instagram, I really like Mokum's Food. They post a lot of different recommendations on different places to eat in all sorts of different parts of Amsterdam. We've got Time Out Amsterdam, if you just want really quickly some top lists of things to do while you're in the city. And of course, not to promote myself, but I do have an Instagram page where I post quite regularly all the things that I get up to, and I save them on my highlights as well. So that could be another resource for you. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video and that it was useful for you. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up down below and hit the subscribe button too, so that you can help my channel grow. And leave a comment down below if you have visited Amsterdam, what were your favorite things to see? Perhaps if you have any other questions about visiting Amsterdam, I'm happy to answer them where I can. I'm gonna end the video now. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!